Wonderful colleagues are moving around me in the background. Let me introduce to you our next speaker, the next panel, so to say. Frank Grafenstein, he's the owner of the Neuster Grafenstein company, which is, listen up, specialized in software development, tourism marketing and content marketing with a strong focus on storytelling and marketing cooperation. Did you get a word? Sort of, right. That's a quote from his LinkedIn profile. It sounds cryptic to you? It should not, because without companies like his, the touristic marketing of many destinations, and 2 of them we will have here today, wouldn't be as good as it is. But what is needed for us in the MICE business, that planners need from these destinations, and what can they offer? He and his panelists have the answers, so please welcome to the stage Frank Grafenstein. And I'll sit down.
No, not yet. So thank you for the very warm welcome words to me. I'm really honored that you put me in such high level. Our today's topic is how to attract big events. And out of the perspective of a destination marketing organization. Is there any destination marketing organization here in the audience? Please raise your hand.
Oh, really?
1.
Wow,
I'll do it all for you. 2, 3. Hopefully we get some more. Okay.
The others don't dare to show up.
Okay. I invited 2 guests who should know about this topic because they are very successful in the market. I'd like to introduce to the stage David Boyce, Head of Emerging Marketing and Business Tourism of Tourism Ireland. Give him a warm applause so that he feels welcomed here. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Here. Anywhere.
And
Anywhere.
Marco Oelschlegel, Director Conventions by Visit Berlin, Berlin Convention Office. It's a home run for you. Welcome. Give him a warm applause as well. Thank you. So this session is very short, and it's divided in 2 sections. Section number first is we have 2 very short presentations on what these 2 gentlemen do to market their destination. And afterwards, we will discuss it a little bit. And David, please go ahead with your presentation about Tourism Ireland.
Thank you, David. Well, for us, the marketing of big events is not actually... Oh, no, it's not come out.
Hang on.
No.
Here you are.
Oh, there we are. And I don't want to sound blasé about this, but it's not rocket science for us. We've been doing it for 35 years and have during that time had a dedicated team of people working on attracting MICE and events to Ireland. What do we do? How do we do it? And how have we done it? And how have we measured success? Well, we do, as a government tourist office, provide quality platforms for our industry across Ireland. And we work closely with our DMCs on the island of Ireland as well, helping them, financing some of their activities, and financing their visits to the markets around the world. Not all the costs, but certainly a portion, and this has worked very well. We have 33 very active DMCs across the island who have connections in most countries around the world, a lot of them particularly in the US, and that, if I was being honest, is where 80% of our incentive business and meeting business comes from, which is fine, and we have great connectivity there as well. And we collaborate with our agencies across Ireland. We are an organisation that has 2 paymasters, one the British government and one the Irish government. Because of the whole situation around our Good Friday Agreement, we have 2 funding streams. So not only one government agency to keep happy, but 2. And that sometimes can be a little bit difficult, but it takes time and it takes collaboration and understanding and all of those things. And as I said earlier, we do finance some of the activities of our agencies and indeed our industry around the world. So that works very well. We have an excellent infrastructure making Ireland capable of hosting large events. And of course, we're famous in Ireland, as you probably know, for our little bit of hospitality, and we would call it a bit of crack, but not the crack you're thinking of. It is CRAIC, so that's what we call it. Now, what does success really look like from a commercial point of view? Well, we have 9 out of the 10 global pharmaceutical companies are based in Ireland. The European companies are based in Dublin, and the same with software companies, financial services, the internet companies and game publishers, and the top 9 out of the top 10 global medical device companies are based in Ireland. So we have a lot of corporate connections, and indeed these companies then lead us to their markets around the world. Working through a strategy to take us to 2030 right now for business events. And so we've identified, and we're in the process of doing this, we've identified 3 pillars of activity: economic, social, and environmental. And on the economic side, how do we do this? We bring our agents, our industry to marketplace, and we visit every year, have been doing this for the last many years, IMEX Frankfurt, Las Vegas, and indeed IBTM in Barcelona. And in addition, the market offices around the world do their own marketing, which we support I'm not going to read all that out. One of the highlights for us, and for me personally, has been Ireland Meets the West End in London. That started in 2011. We have 100 buyers at that each year. It's sold out, and it has been one of the big successes for us since then. And the social, what does it mean if we get a big group into Ireland? What difference do we want to make? Well, we'd like to connect. We want these people to connect with the local communities. And therefore, we want to get them to get around the country. And it's easy to get around. Ireland's a small island, so it's not difficult. And we've had some success of this in the past, and we will keep doing this, because it's one of the things that's been identified in the structure and the strategy so far is connectivity and letting the local communities see the value of the tourism business coming in. Environmental, you heard about sustainability there earlier on. There's some points we're working on at the minute, developing a carbon calculator, which will help us identify ourselves with other competition. We will enhance supports for green events as well. Not essential, but we will have a good look if anything is green, we will help to finance that a bit. And look, very quickly, and at the end, this is our team working all around the world. Barcelona, Frankfurt, and indeed here in London, the Ireland Meets the West End, and that one was a similar event in the US. So look, as I say, that's basically it for us. And I don't want to say, as I said, not blasé. It is something we've done and we do. And just to give you an idea of success in some of the bigger events, we've got the Global Incentive Summit coming to Killarney this year. We have Exchange, the meeting planner group coming this year, and we had Site Global in Ireland last year. Those are just a number of agency things we've had, but many other private agencies coming in as well. So, thank you. I'd love to hand over to my esteemed colleague from the Berlin Tourist Office.
Thank you, David.
Was that all right? Was I on time?
All right.
5 minutes.
Lick.
Is this a film? Is that my video? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's your film.
like
I forgot about that. That's all I've got.
It comes unexpected. Okay.
It's only 30 seconds.
Can we cut that video, please? We're losing time. Cut the video, please. We need to move on with the next presentation. Huh. Get some Yep.
I didn't play it deliberately.
Takes 10 minutes.
Lieber Herr Vorhack, bitte mal in die Regie. Danke schön. Sorry for that.
Welcome to Ireland, but a warm welcome to Berlin as well. Herzlich willkommen in Berlin, a city which is made for big events and which is home to many big events. For example, this year, I don't know if it already starts, but maybe this year you know that we have a football event here taking place, which is very, very important, the UEFA European Cup. And then in the end of the year, we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the fall of the wall again, which is very emotional, but also a really big event in that sense. And talking about business event, we also celebrate the 100th anniversary of the IFA, the Consumer Electronic Shows, which takes place here at the exhibition grounds in the early September. Is this going to work? Or?
Doesn't look like it. Darf ich dich noch mal schnell unterbrechen?
Ja.
Könnt ihr bitte noch mal übers Intercom nach hinten gehen? Es gibt auch für Berlin eine Präsentation, die eigentlich hier anliegen sollte.
If not, I'm happy to talk.
Sorry for that, dear guests. Something is missing in between. There is a presentation missing that actually should be on that screen behind us, but we don't see it yet.
Well, I can maybe talk about last year, the biggest event which took place here maybe last year, the Special Olympics, also a huge event. Maybe some of you have already known about it, the Olympic Games of the mentally and multiply challenged people, which was a great success here and filled the city with joy and championships and a great atmosphere. Yeah?
Speak up.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Louder?
See.
You can hear me all? Yeah? Okay. What else? I can have maybe my
Marco,
thing.
sorry, the presentation will not be available, unfortunately. Or will it? No? No.
Well, our vision
Okay.
as the Convention Bureau of the City of Berlin, we would like to make and work on our vision to make Berlin one of the most sustainable, reliable, and innovative destinations. And this is why events and big events play a big role in this as well. I've already talked about Special Olympics, but we are home to many, many different other conferences, meetings, like the Dermatology, European Dermatology Congress last year. I would have shown you the statistics of Berlin, and it shows you that the number of, or the percentage of really big events in Berlin is not so big. It's 2-3% of all events taking place, but the impact is really, really huge because only to these big events some 20% of all participants go and attend. So it's a huge and massive economical impact to the city, what big event makes, or how they contribute to our city and our development. Because it's not only the economic development, it's also the social impact on the city society. We talk about legacy, we talk about impact. This is huge, and this is going to be stronger, and you already mentioned it with your focus on economic and social and so on responsibility. I think the key factor to attract big events is really to have a network, a big and huge network in Berlin, because we are the kind of the door opener. We introduce Berlin to the clients, but we have to have a good network with all the partners in our city, the infrastructure, the hotels, the locations, the service providers, the politics, sciences, and many, many others. And this is what we have, and this is what is really crucial to attract big events. Of course, you have to have support. You have to listen to the client what they need, and we have the programs and offerings for this. I'm just mentioning the sustainable event guidelines, which helps event planners to have a sustainable event in Berlin. And we've just launched this week the Berlin Congress Fund for Sustainable Meetings, which also helps meeting planners to get money, support when they do it the sustainable way. We have a dedicated program for this. You can have a look at this on our webpage, convention.visitberlin.de, and there you find more details and can get more information on it. Talking about collaborations, it's not only on the local level which is important, but maybe also on the national and international level, to learn from each other, to learn from your peers in Germany with the German Convention Bureau, and internationally. ICA is a really big platform, but also Best Cities, where in our case Berlin is member of a Best Cities Global Alliance. And
There it is.
yeah, and now we're here, but we're nearly at the end. And I just wanted to end, you can look it up afterwards, because I'm run out of time. And maybe as a last point, I would like to draw your attention to the festival, because it's also to make and keep a brand vivid and living like Berlin, meeting the brand of Berlin, to promote it in the world. And festival is one of our events which we use for this, to invite clients to so that they get to know Berlin as a meetings destination for small but also for big events. And this is what we did last year, and we are going to do next year as well. So see you maybe there.
So far, so good.
Let's leave it. Okay. Thank you for these insights into your work. And of course, there are a couple of questions we have. And I'd like to start with, today is your day. I'd like to start with the question of how would you describe your role in this marketing process? So are you just a bystander who helps to open the door? Are you a facilitator? Are you an innovator? So what are your role? You just mentioned it a little bit, but maybe we can go a little bit deeper into the role of Visit Berlin in developing the MICE tourism for our city.
I think we are the one who, the spider in the net in a word maybe. If somebody who is not familiar with Berlin and wants to come to Berlin and has a big, for example, big project, a big conference, and needs a lot of stakeholders and so on, then he or she might be lost a little bit in the way. So this is our role, to help her feel at home in that sense, to introduce her to the people they need to talk with, they need to know, and to put it all together and be the one person, the one organization to keep in main contact with the clients.
So you feel really responsible to bring a deal close to an end, so that there's no nothing.
Yeah.
So David, is that the same with Tourism Ireland, or is there a difference?
Slightly different in that we don't have anything to sell, really. We have a concept, an idea, a product, a promotional thing we can do, but we don't really make the end sale, because that's why we have those DMCs and we have the industry coming out to the markets to we would probably initiate an idea. Like, for example, at those IMAX shows and IBTM, we have a KPI of about 6,500 meetings to take place over the period of time. So those meetings are primarily for the industry to do their business and contract, because we don't do that, but we can help them do that.
Okay. So, David, your role is here as a potential customer of these two.
Sort of, yeah.
And in the preparation of this session, we already found out that not all destination organizations are as well as prepared as these two. So what is your experience?
I think the experience is pretty similar for all of us in the event planning sector. Leave out these two, right? Because number one, the festival is really probably one of the best city-selling things that ever has been conceived. So compliments on that. That works really well, because you come to Berlin, you can experience everything. You get to know the partners, you get to know the locations, you get to know the providers. That really helps a lot. I can't say that about Ireland because I haven't done that yet. Sorry for that.
You're welcome.
I know other destinations, definitely. No, I won't name them just to avoid any kind of bashing, because that wouldn't be nice. But we have a lot of destinations here in, let's say, Southern Europe, that only send you out, when you have a request for that destination, they only send out standard packages. You get some standard information. See, I see heads nodding already. You get standard information, you get standard info about what you can do, and you feel a bit like, hey, I'm not a tourist, right? I'm not traveling individually. I'm going to bring 500, 600, 1,000, how many people ever, to your city. I'd expect that your work for me, with me, would be a little bit different than that what you offer right now. So that's what I have experienced. But the other David did put it pretty well, that it's more like, you are the spider within the net. Your job is to spread out the things, if I'm coming to Ireland, being aware of that and saying, listen, I have a good transportation for you that would fit to for example, to your customer. But we do not have that very often. So that's probably the reason why Frank asked me to join the panel, to say a little bit about that. If we have the situation, and once again, sorry for that, I'm not a big fan either of the IBTM nor the IMAX, which is very simple. I get to know the people, but I do not get to know the product.
No.
Absolutely impossible, right? So For me, it's more like okay, another IMEX, another IBTM. Do I have to go there? No, I don't. And I'll give you one example because we spoke about that a little bit earlier. A Scandinavian country, they have that kind of, let's say, convention office. So you place a request there, and you get standard info. You get standard answers, you get standard packages, you get everything in standard. On the same hand, you have an excellent DMC sitting next to that convention office. And you're calling them and asking them the same question, you get everything you want. You get the right partners, you get the invitation, visit our city, we'll show you around. Okay, we got an idea what you need. This is the hotel, that's the location, here's your transportation partner, here's the catering, any kind of entertainment needed. Excellent. But that's pretty contradictory, isn't it? So that's the reason. So obviously these two destinations do it, thank God, differently.
So that was excellent marketing. Thank you, David.
Welcome.
It is not purely marketing of these two wonderful destinations. It's the key is on to figure out what is the factor of success in this long path of a customer journey like you, David, have from a client who likes to do something up to the point where you contracted all the people and the event could happen.
Yeah.
Out of your perspective, are there any gaps in this supply chain? Or would you say, no, everything is safe? Or do you have a crucial point where you may lose the contact? Maybe, Marco?
I think there's a human factor always involved in it. And even if you would think it the perfect chain and the perfect process and so on, you're always dealing with human. And some of them may have a different idea of what they're doing than others. And this may reflect with you, for example, that it's not as professional as, for example, it should be.
Do you have the complete commitment of all your partners to handle this with high priority when you come with a client, or do you feel people have other things on their mind and they don't pay this attention to it?
I think we're very blessed in Berlin that we have several associations where our service providers, for example, formed associations for hoteliers, associations for meeting planners and service providers. And joining this association also means commitment in a way. And this is it helps us to talk to all of them and to tell them what our ideas, to share their ideas and so on, to get on to find a good standard for all of us. And maybe this is something which is not available in all different other destinations.
So David, you said you're doing this since a long, long time. So is this a secret that you have this tight connection and commitment to all these stakeholders in this process?
Well, I think it's fair to say it took a while to get to where we feel comfortable now. And one of the things that there was a struggle with was the fact of, let's say we got an RFP into the office in Dublin or whatever, how to get that speedily responded to, like almost instantaneously, at least a holding message. And then we've had to put a system together where sort of equally we had to get the DMCs who would be capable of handling it on board and to deal with it in a fast way. That took a long time. And it took a little bit of time to get full commitment from everyone, but I think we're nearly there now with it because we get a lot of inquiries. Not all of them are fulfilled, of course, but we have to respond to an inquiry regardless what it is. So that's what we're probably doing reasonably well, I think, at the moment.
Okay. So as you are two destinations which are very successful in marketing, so how do you measure your success at the end of the day? And do you, for sure, you have a budget. Is this budget connected with what you're doing? Do you have KPIs where the government says, okay, let's give them another 1 million more for next year because they do so well?
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
Yes, of course there are KPIs. I would be wrong to say that our budget is around those KPIs being delivered every time. It's not, because our government is really quite friendly towards tourism and inbound tourism, and we're probably quite fortunate in that, I would think. And we have had sustained and indeed increased budgets post-COVID and all of that stuff. So, yes, we have KPIs. Yes, we strive to achieve them, and mostly we do. You know. Business events is almost €1 billion worth to the economy in Ireland. So it's not, so the government recognise that, and they need to sustain that and want to sustain it. So, yes, they're good to us.
In regard of these
Sounds like it.
KPIs, can you tell a little bit more of how, is it just purely in people or in spendings, or is it a combination of different?
It's a combination of different things. Revenue would be one thing you generated. Now, that was always very difficult to measure because it wasn't just the actual event that was generating the revenue, it was the ancillary stuff, restaurants and bars and hotels that visitors would go to. But there's a model now for that, and that's working. So basically they're looking at how much do we give you and how much does your business give us back? And that, I can't say the number, but it is a substantial return, I can tell you.
Okay. Marco, is it similar for Visit Berlin? And can you say maybe something about the contribution of your activity to the city's income?
I think it's quite similar in a way, and I'm happy about this as well, that we have kind of something where you can show, look, this is what you wanted us to do, and this is what we've achieved. I think it helps us also to see how many people we have met, how many requests we got for Berlin, how many congresses we confirmed, and things like that, but also many other things. And I think a trend, at least with us, is to go a little bit away. Of course, we do statistics and all those things because it's very important, and also the economic impact is very important. Tourism, yes, and MICE business even more. So this is crucial for Berlin. But I think we get more and more to the point that it's not only the quantity which counts, but it's also what kind of conventions you bring to the city, what kind of meetings, what kind of meetings you enable, what kind of lasting legacy you leave in your city. I think this is also something which helps us in the discussion with our stakeholders, the politics, and also the civil society in our cities to show, look, this Congress comes to Berlin in our case, a medical one, and this helps, for example, young children to learn more about this specific field and educate them and enable connections and so on. So this legacy, this impact thing is getting something more and more important, and I'm happy about this.
Me too.
Have you any correlation between MICE tourism and leisure tourism? So do you see an impact, as you said in your presentation probably, that there's some events that maybe not so big, but nationally wide recognize that it's Berlin and that pulls people to come to Berlin? Is there some effect that you could observe?
Yeah, I was a little bit free to when I spoke about the events, because they were not all business events, obviously, but this is something they have, of course, a business model behind it and so on, and this is why we deal with them as well, with the sport events and all those things. But at the end of the day, even if it's a MICE or meeting, a business event where we do deal with the organizers on a B2B level, it's always a B2C event in a way as well, because the participants at the end of the day, they're individuals who go to a dinner, go out for dinner in a restaurant, they do some shopping, they do a private visit to a museum and so on. So there's, of course, a connection to this. And we, of course, approach the B2B organizers, the organizers on a B2B level. But the people who finally come because of the decision these organizers took, they come as individuals, as tourists in that sense.
David, is it for Tourism Ireland the same, or is it the other way around, that the B2C tourism brings attraction for the business tourism?
From our perspective, marketing around the world, our consumer, normal visitor, may I say with respect, campaigns help the image of Ireland because it gets the name out there. And therefore, and when we spend quite a bit of money on consumer marketing and advertising in our main markets, like in the US, it probably will be €9 or €10 million this year, and promoting to come to Ireland for a visit. So it works from that perspective, that our brand, if you want to call it that, is out there, and therefore a meeting planner will be more familiar with Ireland, I believe, if he sees it on the television or social media, whatever, and that's what we concentrate on. And I believe there is a correlation between the awareness of Ireland and the awareness of Ireland through our MICE buyers as well. And I think we've proven that in many ways, that people have said, oh, I've been to Ireland before on a holiday and I want to bring my group. And that to me is working.
Yeah. Okay,
Amazing.
so in regard of times, the last but maybe most difficult question is, if you would summarize two or three factors of success, which you say these are crucial for destination marketing organizations to bring MICE tourism forward, what would these be for you, Marco?
If it's free, then I would say, of course, you have to have the environment, the ecosystem, so infrastructure and how to get there, and all those things. You have to have it to be able to offer it, and then you have to listen to the clients, what they really need, what they're really looking for, and to make tailor-made propositions, as you said. I think this is number 2, and number 3. What was number 3?
I don't know. You know, maybe.
He said 2 or 3. Sorry.
Let's, the network.
The networking, yes, that's it.
I was listening you.
To be connected with all involved, and people maybe not even involved in first thing, but this is important things.
David?
I would actually agree. I mean, I think one of the things is bringing people together and the understanding of what we're doing, and the people on the ground in Ireland as well, even hoteliers, etc. Everybody understanding what the goal is and how they can contribute and how they can see their contribution. And I think it's collaboration, it's communication, and it's trust. All of those things have to work together, and we have to promote that as well as promoting the concept of coming to Ireland for a meeting or an incentive group or whatever. So is it easy? No, but we keep doing it and try to do it.
David, from your perspective.
If more destinations, we had some destinations here, do we? Yeah, huh? Destination marketing? Yeah, okay. If more of the destinations that we normally, from our side of the business, work with, would think and work like you do, I would not need to be here on stage, because that would be perfect, because the individuality is the number one thing. Every client is different, every customer is different, every concept is different that we try to work out wherever. But for me, I can only say, if you experience not pros like these, then have a DMC. Sorry.
That's maybe one learning. So yes, thank you. Maybe if to summarize, there is still space for development for many destinations, I would say. I think that, as you said, the network and of course the reliability of this network is crucial. Otherwise, I think requests will just fall apart and all the marketing budget was in vain.
Yeah.
And well, I'd like to thank you for this interesting session. Thank you for you all that you're sitting here and listening to us, and enjoy ITB. Thank you. Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm switching back to my original role.
Okay.
As the moderator. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
That was really, really great. Oh, you need to take some pictures.
With you, because
Come on, guys.
yes,
Yes, here we go.
Yes.